So your lesson number 4, environmental balance. What do you mean by balance? Balance means to keep both the sides equal. So how there is a balance in our environment? How there is a balance in our nature? We have to see today. Look at these pictures on the screen. These pictures which are there on the screen are of different trees. The trees which are growing in different forests. Example, you can see here, the evergreen trees, they are tall even. They are tall. Why? Because they want to receive sunlight. You know that each and every plant, they prepare their food with the help of sunlight. So these trees, they want to receive sunlight, and that's why they grow taller and taller. They compete with each other. Evergreen forest. Okay. Now here these trees are taller. Now see the second picture. Here you can see the trees are taller as well. They have colorful leaves. The colorful leaves you can see which are there on the road, on this path, green, yellow, orange, and it looks so beautiful. This is a deciduous forest. And here you can see the coniferous forest. The third picture is about the cone-shaped trees. You can see the shape of the cone is, it is a cone-shaped tree. So here in the third picture, you can see the cone-shaped trees. And in the fourth picture, you can see the leaves which are there, they are broad leaves, okay, spread out. They are broad-shaped leaves. Okay, so here these are different, what are these? These are different trees, different plants, we can say, and different forest. The trees which are growing in different forest. Okay, so here you can see that all these trees which are growing in different forests, they have different specialities. So let us go ahead and see. Now see, the way you saw the difference between the trees, some leaves are small, some leaves are broad, some leaves are long, some leaves are short. Similarly, you can see there's a difference, or we can say there's a variety in animals too. So you can see there are some animals living on land, terrestrial animals. There are some animals and birds living in water, aquatic animals. And there are some animals which are living on land as well as on the trees, land and trees. They are known as arboreal animals. That means what? There are different animals which are seen in the environment, or we can say on this earth. So we saw the trees, we saw the animals. Now see, look here, this you must have identified polar bear. The polar bear, this animal is not found everywhere. It is only found in the polar regions. Similarly, you can see the giraffe. Now, giraffe is also found in a particular region. It is not found everywhere. This picture is about the another animal. Yes, you guessed it right, zebras. Zebras are only famous in Africa. You can see why they are famous in Africa, because the conditions, the climate is favorable for the zebras over there. So they are found in the continent of Africa. Similarly, you can see kangaroos. Kangaroos are the famous animals of Australia. So what we saw the variety in different plants, trees, and we saw there are a variety in different animals, even birds. All in all, that means variety is there in all the living things, maybe human beings, animals, plants, even small microorganisms. So total, this variety in living things is known as biodiversity. So what is biodiversity? The variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area. I told you the giraffe or zebra, they belong to a particular area. They are only seen in that area. So what do we mean by biodiversity? The variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area is called biodiversity of that place. Now look here, you can see the palm and the palm holding, the scientist holding a creature on the leaf. Okay, then what these scientists are doing, they are studying each and every creature, whether they are small, whether they are big, whether they are tall or short. Very tiny creatures also the scientists study. And how they study with the help of the instruments. They observe all the creatures. So scientists make a large number of observations to study biodiversity. Similarly, scientists make observation in different conditions also. Scientists, which are these different conditions? That means you can see here the day and night condition and in different seasons. Here, scientists will observe during the day because there are some insects and animals which are active only during the day. Some animals are active only in the night time. So, scientists will observe in different conditions. And which are these conditions? It may be day and night or in different seasons. The seasons can be summer, winter, autumn, spring, any seasons. So these are the conditions. See, these are some instruments which are used by the scientist. The instruments, maybe it can be an electron microscope or any other instruments which are really necessary for the observation. So there are special devices which are used to study biodiversity, which are found at great depth. See, there are some animals which are in water at a great, they are very, very deep inside. So at a great depths, the marine animals or aquatic animals are found in water. There are some animals at a height, maybe in the mountainous region, okay, in the polar regions. And there are some living things which are micro, very tiny. You cannot see with your bare eyes or naked eyes. For that you need a microscope. So to study the biodiversity, there are some special devices which are used. And how they are used? They can go at the great depths, that is very, very deep down, or they can grow at heights also. They can go at heights and study, or even as well as microorganisms. Now these are another pictures of the instruments which are used by the scientists to study the biodiversity of a particular place. Now one scientist will study, the second scientist will also go in that region and will study, and the third will also go in that region and will study. But all these scientists will have different observations. They must have observed the same animal in different ways, or they must have observed in the same region but different animals or creatures. Now what they do, these scientists, they bring all the information together. They collect the information together and again they study it for a long period of time. Together they club the information and one conclusion, and they will derive one conclusion. And after that, after studying it for a long time, then they make sure that the biodiversity of that place is different, or they will study the biodiversity of that region and declare what all animals, birds or things are found in that particular region. So what they do, scientists come together, they collect the observation together, again they study it for a long period of time. Now here, let us see, what do you mean by environment? You know now what is biodiversity. The variety in living things is biodiversity. What do you mean by environment? Let us study environment. See here the first picture. In this first picture you can see this one, that suppose you are this is a church, okay, or there are some buildings where you are living. But when you are living somewhere, the area around you is your surrounding. Okay. Now see the second picture. In this picture, there's a snowfall. That means what? How is the condition there? It is snow is falling over there. Sometimes it will be rain. Sometimes it will be storm. So these are the conditions. So what is environment? When the surroundings come together and the conditions, surroundings and conditions, both will affect the life of an organism, any organism, human beings, plants, animals. So what who will affect? The surroundings and the conditions of that place, which will affect, or it will affect the life of an organism together, is known as environment. Now let us see which are the components in the environment. Components in the environment: sunlight, that is rays of the sun, what we receive, the sun's light; air, water, soil, plants, and animals. So these are the components in the environment. Now out of these components, plants and animals are living things. Sunlight, air, water, soil are non-living things. That means what? In the environment, you have the living components and the non-living components. Together consist of your environment. Now see here, a living thing is dependent on water. Water is a non-living thing. So a living thing, this creature is dependent on water. So living things and non-living things interact with each other. That is, interactions are there with each other. They are dependent on each other. This picture is in your textbook. Look at this picture. Observe this picture very carefully. Boys, here you can see rain, water, sunlight. Okay, these are non-living things. But some animals are shown over here. Example, tiger, snake, mouse, elephant. These are living creatures. Then you can see the hen. Okay, all these which are there, the fish, are living creatures. Worm. These are living creatures and non-living creatures in the environment. But they are dependent on each other. Now, how they are dependent on each other? Look at this picture. This picture is about of a tree trunk. That means what? This tree trunk, the tree is also growing, but there are some insects which are feeding on the trees. That means insects are, the food of the insect is what? The shelter is the tree trunk. This is how all the living things are dependent on each other. Example, again, I'll give you one more. Fish is a living thing. Water is a non-living thing. But fish lives in water. It cannot stay without water. Okay. So again, there is an interaction between a living and a non-living thing. Similarly, example of animals. Example, tiger can eat the herbivorous animals. Tiger is what? Animal. They eat animals. That means what? Tiger is a carnivorous animals. The animals, the living organisms which eat other animals. Carnivorous. Some animals, they eat grass, plants, herbivorous. So this herbivorous animal can be eaten by the carnivorous animal, that is tiger. Similarly, a mouse will be gulped by the snake. Snake can eat the mouse. That means what? They all are dependent on each other. And as they are dependent on each other, that means they are connected with each other. There is a chain between a non-living thing and a living thing. It is known as a food chain. So let us see ahead. Look here. This is in the first picture, you can see the plants. Now, who will eat the plants or who will eat the leaves of the plants? See, the worm. You can see the worm in the second picture. So the worm will eat the leaves. Okay. Now, who will eat the worm? The worm will be eaten by the grasshopper. Okay. Now, who will eat the grasshopper? The sparrow. Okay. The sparrow will be, grasshopper will be eaten by the sparrow. You got it how it is? Plants are eaten by the worms. Worms are eaten by the grasshopper. And the grasshopper in turn are eaten by the sparrow. Okay. This is one food chain. This is a chain. They are connected to each other for their food. So when the living organisms are connected to each other for their food, it is known as a food chain. Okay, this is one food chain only. Now, as I told you, sparrow will eat grasshopper, grasshopper will eat worm, worm will eat the leaves. Okay, because sparrow, grasshopper and worm, the food is there. What about the food of the plants? What is the plant food? They prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. Okay, so main thing for all the food chains in nature is the plant. Plant is the basic, we can say, basic thing which is connected to all different food chains. Who will eat the birds? Who will eat this bird? Sparrow. Okay, let us see who will eat it. In this picture, you can see small birds. As I told you, sparrow, who will eat the sparrow? So small birds like sparrow, canary are eaten by snakes. Pythons can eat large birds. So which are these large birds? Herons, stork. How these pythons they do? How they eat the birds? They coil around them. They coil around the herons and stork, these large birds, and they eat them. Now, similarly, human beings, cats and dogs also eat birds. Now, you must be wondering which birds we are eating. Human beings, non-vegetarians. Chick, hens are eaten by dogs, cats, human beings. So, these are different birds which are eaten. Let us see about another food chain now. Different food chain. You can see here. I showed you one food chain. This is another food chain. Rays of the sun. Because of the sun's light, you can see the plants preparing their food. This is grass. Okay. Grass, whether any plants, they prepare their own food. Now this grass is eaten by whom? It is eaten by the grasshopper. They eat the plants. Grasshopper eating the plant. Now who will eat the grasshopper? The mice. Okay, the mouse will eat the grasshopper. Who will eat the mouse? Mouse will be eaten by the snake. The snakes eat the mice. Okay. Now who will eat the snake? The birds which are flying in the sky. Dangerous one, eagles, vulture. Okay. Hawks, they are known as hawks. So the eagles will eat the snake. How it started? From the sun with the grass. Grasshopper eating the grass. Mouse eating the grasshopper, snake eating the mouse, and the eagle eating the snake. What about this eagle? Eagle will die. After that, what will happen to that body? The eagle's body or the hawk's body, they break. They get mixed with the soil. Okay, and once that body is dead, then it gets mixed with the soil, and then that soil will get nutrients. They're converted into nutrients. Now, these nutrients which are there in the soil, again, they are used by the plants along with the sun's energy, along with the water. And again, grass will grow. Again, the plants will grow with the help of these nutrients. Again, this chain will be repeated. So, this is one food chain. Okay, let us see the next one. So, one living thing can be a part of number of food chains that give rise to food web. Boys, you saw now two food chains. Plants eaten by worm, but same plants are also eaten by grasshopper. Same plants are also eaten by herbivorous animals. Same plants can be eaten by human beings. We are also eating vegetables. Means what? One living thing, that is plants, are connected to many food chains. So when one living thing are connected to many food chains, then it will give rise to a food web. It will become a web. Let us see what is a food web. Here you can see in this picture, this is a green plant. Okay, boys, observe the picture carefully. You know what is a food chain now. Now see what is a food web. What do you mean by food web? See here, this is a tree. Okay, the leaves of the tree are eaten by goat. Okay, then this goat is eaten by lion. This is one food chain. Now again see the same tree. It is eaten by rabbit. The leaves are eaten by rabbit, and rabbit in turn is eaten by jackal. Another food chain. See the third one. Again tree is connected to a rabbit, and rabbit is eaten by wild cat. Okay, and the wild cat will be eaten by lion. This is the next food chain. Similarly, owl will eat the mouse. Mouse is eaten by owl. Okay, this is one food chain. This mouse is also eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by kite. Example, we saw eagle, now your kite. So there are so many food chains connected together. These all food chains are connected to one living thing, that is plant. So this is known as food web. When one living thing is connected to different food chains, it will give rise to food web. Here also you can see, this is a picture in your textbook. This is a plant, grass we can imagine. The grass is eaten by deer. Deer is eaten by jackal. Okay. And grass is eaten by deer. Deer is eaten by lion also. Another food chain. What will happen if any of the thing is missing over here? If any of a living thing or any of a component in a food chain misses, then the food chain will break and it will disturb the balance in nature. Here you can see the grass eaten by rabbits, and rabbits are eaten by hawks. Again, the grass is eaten by worm, worm is eaten by grasshopper, and grasshopper is eaten by frog, and frog is eaten by snake. See, this is a chain. So there are different chains in nature which will give rise to food web. How to maintain balance in nature? As I told you, any one of the component is out of it, then the entire food chain gets disturbed. So microorganisms which are there, okay, in the soil, what they do, these microorganisms, these small organisms, the insects, they eat the dead plant animals. They eat the microorganisms which are there in the soil. They will eat the dead animals. They will eat the plant's residue. What do you mean by residue? Remains of plants. They will eat the dead animals. They will eat the dead plants and animals. Okay, which microorganisms in the soil, eating and converting it into nutrients means what? Decomposition. They are decomposing, and who are decomposing? Microorganisms. What they are doing? They are eating the dead plants and animals which are there mixed in the soil. And after decomposition, what happens? The soil will be full of nutrients, and this nutrients will be used by the plants again. See how after the decomposition, the nutrients are produced which are used by the plants for their growth. So substances are used by the plants for their growth. Now look here, you can see this breathing, how you breathe. When you breathe, you inhale, you take air inside. When you breathe out, you exhale. Inhalation, that means intake. Exhalation means outtake. So output. So here, what you inhale oxygen from the air. And what you exhale in air, you exhale, you give out carbon dioxide. Okay, so you inhale oxygen, you exhale carbon dioxide. But who is giving us oxygen? And what happens to this carbon dioxide? Look here. Plants and human beings. See, we need oxygen. We inhale oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. Now what happens to this carbon dioxide? The plants take the carbon dioxide. Okay, plants need the carbon dioxide. And what they give out? Oxygen. Plants give out oxygen. Okay, and this oxygen which is given out in the air by plants are taken by us. So we inhale oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. Plants give out oxygen and they inhale carbon dioxide. This is how the cycle goes and a balance is maintained in nature. So when the various cycles go on uninterrupted, that means without any disturbance, when all these cycles will go on properly without disturbance, then only there will be a balance in the environment. The environmental balance will be maintained.